Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. It's Friday. It's time for Tech Briefs. This is where we catch you up on some of the biggest stories in tech throughout the last week and make sure that you know some of the details that you should probably know. And to do that, as always, we're joined by Ken Yeung, the technology editor for Flipboard. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Greg, how's it going? Nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. Once again, so much happening this week. To try to rapid fire go through some of this, I mean, if you think about what's gone on at the beginning of the week, we had an Apple event. There's so much that's happened, it's kind of gone by the wayside at this point. And there's a lot that happened with it, and a lot of people are caught up on that. But a couple of key things that I know we wanted to bring up. One, the end of iTunes. Right. iTunes going away, splitting up into those three apps, and Apple Music, Apple Podcast, Apple TV app. So that's something that people need to know about. But then also this sign in with Apple. Can you tell us what that exactly is?
Oh, absolutely. So basically, this is a 2.5-hour keynote that Apple threw on day one of WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference. There's so many announcements out there, and many that have already been discussed widely. But the two highlights that you did point out are, I thought, were actually pretty significant. Obviously, the first is the end of iTunes. I mean, after nearly 20 years, this was the first store that was out there that kind of helped you get your MP3s onto your iPod. That was the first one. That's the one that's Apple brought back with the iPod Touch recently, just last week. So this has been around for 20 years. And it just has not been able to adapt with the times, right? And so now people no longer just want to have they don't want to pay 99 cents just for a song. They want to listen to entire albums. They want to do this whole streaming stuff with movies, with music, with podcasts. And iTunes just wasn't able to adapt to that. So now Apple has said, all right, let's evolve, and we're going to break it up into three parts. What you mentioned with Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple Podcasts. So I think that's actually pretty substantial with the way it's going. Now, there's been a lot of fun little history-making milestones that iTunes has undertaken over the past 20 years. I think people probably most remember the fact that we all got the YouTube album for free on our iPhones. Right. The perpetual YouTube album that we could never remove. But also, I think the benefit now with the new era of iTunes, with the three broken up into three parts, is that with macOS Catalina, when you plug in your phone, the iTunes app isn't going to pop up annoyingly, and it's just going to be done seamlessly. You'll be able to sync everything up to your mobile devices. Now, your music's not going to go away, and iTunes for Windows will remain for now. So we'll see how the consumers react to the new way that you can get your music and your movies and your podcasts.
Yeah, definitely a change, and probably an update that did need to happen, like you said. And then the one other thing was sign in with Apple, just so people are aware of that. That's going to start popping up on websites. You have to sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook. Now sign in with Apple, pretty significant in that end as well. You can check up on, I mean, certainly a big thing. I know we need to get to some other topics too, so that's just at the beginning of the week that happened. So that's all there. You can follow up on all of that on Flipboard or digitaltrends.com. Then we have Amazon having their own conference with the Mars conference, which is basically the public version of Jeff Bezos' private conference that he has every year, where it's about robotics and AI and different uses of that along those lines, and inviting in different companies. And just some of the highlights, robotics definitely was featured, both with Amazon's, one of their new warehouse robots, in that they're going to be utilizing these. We know that they're moving slowly more towards automation in their warehouses. I did think it was funny with the presentation. They had the happy workers that were standing there all excited about these robots that are maybe taking some of their jobs. But that was part of their press kit. And so you have those robots, but then they also showcase some of the stuff from Boston Dynamics, kind of for the first time in public without their highly produced videos being showcased. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, basically, Remars is Amazon's equivalent of Amazon, their AWS Reconnect, right? And this is, as you said earlier, this is all about machine learning. This is about automation. This is about space and everything else. So this is, all pie in the sky type of things, breakthrough technology that Amazon wants to showcase is happening and that they're going to bring to market as well. And yes, Boston Dynamics is one of the forerunners in terms of bringing out robots. You saw the ones that with their videos that are on social media and YouTube. with the biped humanoid robot that's doing parkour. Then you also have famously Spot, their robot, the one that the video where there was some guy that kicked the robot dog, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, why are you killing the robot?" But it's funny that during on stage at the Remars, when Boston Dynamics gave the presentation, that the Spot humorously was doing what he was programmed to do, and then basically acted like a dog and just face planted and just rolled over and just said, "Forget it, I'm done." Right, and so it was a humorous part on the keynote. Obviously, that's not something Boston Dynamics really wanted to have happen. But that shows the progress of where things are going. Obviously, Boston Dynamics is saying that their robots, their consumerization of their robots will be out soon, probably by the end of this year. Yeah. So we'll start to see if these robots will make their way into these warehouses. Now, Amazon, of course, you talked about they debuted 2 robots to help with the sorting and also the carrying of packages in their warehouse. If you remember earlier in the month, they enacted a plan or proposed a plan that would allow their workers to quit their jobs and to make deliveries as well. So I don't know how that's going to weigh out. I think on the surface, it's like, sure, Amazon's making it easier for their warehouse workers to get things done and to be more focused on things that are higher priority. Who knows what's going to happen? Obviously, those are saying automation is taking away our jobs, but this may help augment it. Only time will tell.
And you're right. We'll see where it does end up with that. A couple of other things that were announced, and there's a lot, but we'll just kind of highlight just a couple of them. Was the delivery drone. So they showcased a video of one of their Amazon drones. They specifically said, this is not simulated. This is showing a drone. It's out in a field, showcasing, I would imagine, since it's out in a field, showcasing just how steady it can be in all of that weather and wind. They said that this could end up actually delivering packages by the end of the year. The idea is that you would get something within a half hour. It can carry, moderate packages that you would order from Amazon, I think up to a few pounds that'll be able to deliver. They didn't talk about where it would deliver it to, is it going to your house? Do you have to have a special box? How that mechanism of the whole process works. But they did showcase that the drone technology seems to be there. They're caught up to speed on that. There's still a lot of regulations as well that they have to get through in order to make this actually happen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is their next generation. I mean, you remember that they started talking about piloting drones in 2013, and now this is the next generation of that. They touted that this would be able to take off and land on its own without any real human interaction. So this would be kind of interesting to do. Now, the FAA has given them a temporary certificate to begin testing under certain conditions. So we'll see how that goes. And obviously, there's a lot of specifics that need to be weighed out. Obviously, will people be worried that they're going to see these things that look like TIE fighters coming across the air and it's like, oh my God, the Empire is striking back? And right. I don't know. But this plays into Amazon's favor because obviously now they have better equipment to compete against Alphabet's Wing operation, which is similar. And it's also it's also helpful for their next announcement, which related to Remars, is Project Cooper, which is their satellite operations. Now, Bezos says that Amazon is planning on spending millions of billions of dollars on spending many billions of dollars on this satellite operation to set up this network of satellites in low Earth orbit to broadcast broadband around the world. Now, this is similar to what we talked about last week with SpaceX's rockets that are going into space that are bringing this Starlight network into operation. So it'll be very interesting to see how these drones can be better piloted, better navigated through whatever this project that Amazon is planning on doing. So. I mean, obviously, the broadband comes into play, AWS comes into play, and sure, if this can deliver me, donuts on demand. I'm more power to me. I'm happy to be an Amazon Prime subscriber.
Right, and this is just part of what we found out from Amazon. There's a lot more that went on, and you can catch up on that as well at Digital Trends or Flipboard. And I know we're starting to run low on time, which it's always hard to get all this information in. Another big announcement though came from Google ahead of E3, which is coming up, really starting this weekend, but next week officially. And so we're seeing some more of these video game announcements, and this has to do with Google Stadia, which is Google's streaming gaming service. And they announced it, I believe it was back in March, I think is when they originally said that they were going to be coming forth with this, their attempt to take on console gaming and just stream completely. And we got some more details on it. The details being it's going to be a $130 buy-in in order to get into the service, and that comes with, I believe, a Chrome Ultra 4K streaming device. I'll get the actual details on that. Then also, you get a controller with it, and you can get a Google Stadia name ahead of anybody else. And then that you can do that and then buy games just piece by piece, just as standalone, and then you get to play them. Or you can opt into a pro service, which would be $10 a month, and then stream the games from there too. The thing I really want to know, I want to see once this is implemented, they said with the pro service, it's 4K streaming gaming. I mean, that's pretty incredible if they can accomplish that. And if they can't, this could be a huge failure. There's a lot of potential pitfalls in this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is very early stages right now for Google. Now they're saying they're going to launch this in November. Who knows how this actually is going to fare? It won't be available in a lot of places around the world. It's not even going to be available in all parts of the U.S. I think Hawaii is one of the markets that won't be able to take advantage of Google Stadia. But they're touting their cloud network to basically provide in quality resolution, high streaming of these games. Now, whether it's worth the initial $10 a month, or if you're willing to bet it all and put $130 down up front for all these perks with a Chromecast Ultra device, for a exclusive console controller and a vanity URL, and also with 3 months and 3 months of Pro, and then a Buddy Pass. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's very telling. But right now, the initial only game is Destiny's 2. But they have a bunch, I believe, like 31 titles lined up for release. So that'll be kind of interesting. This is what's clear now is from what they announced in March is that this is not just a subscription service. It's not a Netflix for games. This is going to be one where you can rent. Well, very similar to online, but you're also going to be able to buy titles as well. So, and they claim that it's going to be, those prices are going to be comparable to what you get on PlayStation, Xbox, and the like. Yeah,
I'm definitely a lot more, I'm sure, that's going to come. And with E3 in general, there's a lot of news that's going to be coming out. I'll say for Digital Trends, we've got several people that are down there. We're going to be covering that up to the minute, and we'll have live coverage on DT Live next week. But Ken, as usual, it's always fun for Tech Briefs, bringing people up to date. Go check out Flipboard, of course. And Ken, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, appreciate it.